Hello friends, this is Otz, take my word for it, and today we're answering a question from Twitter from our friend Sino, who, long story short, is basically struggling. After he hits survivors once, it's sometimes difficult to know exactly where they go, and he's wondering if I have any video with advice on this topic. The answer is no, I didn't have any video, but hey, here it is, Sino. I hope it will help you out. We're gonna go over what exactly you can use as a killer to track a survivor after a hit, why some of these things are not always reliable, and knowing all of that, we're gonna come up with a very basic guideline so that you don't lose survivors nearly as often. On top of seeing them directly with your own two eyes, there are four main cues you need to look out for when you hit a survivor. The first is their cry of pain as you hit them. The second is the grunts of pain that they usually make when they're injured as they get away from you. There's also the blood that they'll leave on the ground periodically, and the scratch marks that they'll usually leave around when they run away from you. If you follow these cues, it's very unlikely that the survivor will lose you. You'll eventually catch up and find them. However, with the right circumstances and perks, survivors can actually have none of these cues available, making it really hard to catch up and find them if you lose track of them. Luckily, most of these perks are quite situational and unpopular, maybe Iron Will being the only exception, so there's really not that much to look out for in terms of perks. You do need to, however, keep in mind that there's many things working against you when it comes to keeping track of survivors after a hit. For one, there will always be a really obnoxious blood splatter on your screen that makes visual tracking a little bit difficult right after a hit. On top of that, don't forget that survivors lose collision with you right after you hit them. For a couple seconds, you can go through survivors and they can go right through you. And coupled with the very low field of view that killers naturally have, this means that a survivor can crouch or move inside you, and you are very likely not to see them directly. And of course, as I'm sure that you already know, after you hit a survivor, they get a very considerable speed boost, so anything they do, they can do it very quickly, whether it's going away or into you. So keeping all of these things in mind, the best method that I've personally found that helps me best really is to, after that first hit, immediately turn towards the closest, safest option that the survivor has available. This is the place that the survivor is most likely to run towards. Sometimes that will be a window, it will be a pallet, it will be a big building, whatever it might be, whatever place you are most afraid of that the survivor will run towards, look there straight up, and most of the times you'll see that the survivor's headed right there. Let's look at this very basic example. We've got a survivor out position, complete dead zone around them by the edge of the map. They are opening a chest, we're about to catch them, and we know for a fact, we've got Zanchin tactics here to highlight it, that there's really nothing near it. No safety in the form of pallets or windows. The closest thing that this survivor can get to if they want to look me for a reasonable amount of time is to go to those two windows and the LT walls. So that's exactly what we're gonna do. After that hit, we look there, and indeed, that's where the survivor goes. We follow it up, and we get a hit or not, but we are on track to down them. If the survivor does something a little bit more unexpected, like in this case, run to the edge of the map, will take a little bit longer to notice, but it won't matter because this second option is not as good. So even if they get a little bit of advantage, this advantage is not going to be as critical as they're not making the optimal play. Don't forget though that there's a third option. Where's the survivor? Oh, where did he go? Oh, there they are. They were just hiding inside our body when they lost their collision with Iron Will. Many survivors will try to do cheeky things like that. The really good survivors, however, will not just hide inside your body forever. What they'll do is they'll hide inside your body for a little bit, and when you look one way, they'll start running the other, just like this. This makes it actually harder to notice that you've fallen for this trick, and it gives them a lot of time to get away. Don't forget, if you're lost, to constantly look back and forth to see if you can catch a glimpse of the survivor. Keep an eye on them, and if they have Iron Will, remember that this could happen to you.